welcome the audience to the January 19th Parish Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Would you all please stand while I ask Coach Williams to say the invocation and pledge allegiance?
Our gracious Father in heaven, again we come giving thanks for all many blessings. We thank Thee for the past year. We thank Thee for the new year for which You have granted us an opportunity. And we just pray, Lord, that for those members, especially our dear board member, Mr. Connors, You know his condition, and You just have mercy upon him and touch his whole family and those who, as the minister, the health care. We don't question You, but You know. We pray for our dear brother Navarre, his brother, who did so many great things for this parish. But again, we don't question You. We just ask that You give us the wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and not trust in ourselves, but trust in You. And we pray for this board. We pray for this staff. We pray for those who come tonight, looking for our help. Let the Holy Spirit guide and lead us that we might do that which is pleasing in Your sight. This we offer this day as our prayer.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I ask Christy to call the roll, I would like to take a point of personal privilege and ask you all to join me in congratulating Coach Williams, who was selected and received the Unsung Hero Award with the MLK Coalition this past weekend at the MLK Breakfast. So congratulations for all the work you do. Christy, please call the roll, please.
Chair Elijah Gilreath.
Here.
Vice Chair Jake Porche.
Here.
Mr. LaSalle Williams.
Here.
Miss Julia Dickerson.
Here.
Miss Sharon Galicia.
Here.
Mr. Art Little.
Here.
Mr. Kirk Smith.
Here.
Mr. Gary Navarre.
Here.
Miss Betty Brown.
Here.
Miss Latricia Cobb.
Here.
Mr. David Connor is absent.
Thank you. This is an 11-member board. It will take the majority of those members present to grant or deny any request heard tonight. The chair will refrain from voting unless there is a tie. The meeting will be conducted with me reading the request from the agenda. The planning staff will give a presentation and report their recommendations. If the applicant would like to add to the staff's presentation, or if someone from the audience have comments, please come to the microphone, state your name, address, and nature of your request. All persons wishing to speak other than the applicants are asked to fill out a blue request to appear form located in the back of the room. The form must be given to a staff member prior to the reading of the agenda item. As required by this board's bylaws, in all cases, the proponents will be limited to 10 minutes. Opponents will be granted 10 minutes as well, with each speaker allowed no more than 3 minutes. I recommend that a spokesperson be selected if there is a large group wanting to speak on the same agenda item. If 4 or more speaker request forms are submitted, the time allowed for individual speakers will be limited based upon the number of forms submitted. The chair has the right to limit speakers who present redundant information or personal attacks. In unique situations, the chair may extend or the board may vote to extend the time allotted for speakers. After discussion, the board will vote on each request. I will announce the decision of the board after the vote. The zoning variance is final tonight. The rezoning cases will go before the police jury for final action on January 21st, 2016. This meeting is being taped by the Calcasieu Parish Government Channel and can be viewed on Wednesday and Thursday following the meeting. For additional run dates, check the website at www.cppj.net. Channel 5 in Lake Charles and Sulphur, Channel 61 in Moss Bluff, Westlake, Vinton, and DeQuincy, Channel 99 in Corliss and Grand Lake. Please turn off all electronic devices. Item number 5. Take appropriate action to approve the minutes of the November 17, 2015 and December 15, 2015 Planning and Zoning meetings.
So moved.
Second.
Probably moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay. Take appropriate action on case VA 07-00216, a request by Travis Malonsom et al. For a variance to allow a dwelling with less than required public frontage, road frontage required 100 feet, requesting 30 feet in the 2200 block of WPA Road in Ward 7. I'll entertain a motion to approve with the stipulations.
So moved.
I need a
Second.
second. All right. Ms. Polly moved in second. Ms. Wallace?
Mr. Guillory?
Yes.
If
Ms.
you
Up?
can note who made the motion and the second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
It helps with the minutes.
I got you.
I made the move.
Okay. Ms. Navarre and Ms. Cobb made the second, if I'm not mistaken. Okay.
All right. This property is west of Sulphur and encompasses 2.3 acres of agricultural zone land. The petitioners recently purchased the land and would like to construct a home at this location. To do so, they must receive a variance on the road frontage requirement. Because minimal impacts are to be expected, the staff recommends that the request be granted with the following stipulation: that the development adhere to the site plan on file with the division, provided that the director may authorize adjustments to site plans in light of technical or engineering considerations discovered during development.
Okay. Does the applicant have anything to add? Presentation? Okay, no blue cards on this one. Questions or comments by the board?
I'm sorry, I thought that we did have a blue card. We didn't?
Not for 6.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Questions or comments by the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carried. Okay, item number 7. Take appropriate action on case RZ 03-001-16, a request by Tanis Rentals LLC to rezone from A1 Agriculture to R-RVP Recreational Vehicle Park to allow a recreational vehicle park, 72 spaces, at 3570 Wagon Lane in Ward 3. I will entertain a motion to approve with the stipulations.
So moved.
Mr. Art, second. Ms. Dickerson, second. Ms. Wallace.
This property is located south of Lake Charles in the Deatonville area. As stated, the petitioner would like to construct a 72-space RV park at this 20-acre site. If approved, the park will include laundry and bathing facilities along with an office and pavilions. Water and sewer will be provided on-site. Because minimal impacts are to be expected, the staff recommends that the request be granted with the following stipulations: that the development adhere to the site plan on file with the division, provided that the director or designee be authorized to amend plans based on technical or engineering considerations discovered during development, and that all exterior lighting must be oriented inward toward the development or structures to minimize intrusion onto surrounding properties.
Okay, thank you. The applicant, would you like to, anything to add to Ms. Tanis? Come on up, please. State your name and your address, please.
It's Tanis Robinson at 9710 Big Lake Road.
Okay. How can we help you?
I just wanted to say that I know that there's a lot of people that are against it today, but if I wouldn't have bought the land, another developer would have, that would have been from out of town, and they wouldn't have had the concerns I do of keeping the area.
You can talk to us. Talk to us.
Keeping the area the way, I've lived down there since 2010, but we've had a camp down in Cameron in the old settlement since I was like 12 years old, 12 or 14, something like that. So, I've been around that area for a while, and I want to preserve it. So, but I know there's a lot of people coming in, and I grabbed it before somebody else did. That was from out of town.
Okay. Thank you. We have one card for it, Mr. Bubba Wheat.
Thank you for accepting my for this project. I believe our parish needs it. The water is there, as I heard y'all mention.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wheat. Can you have your name and address, please?
Forgive me.
No, forgive me.
Elvin Wheat, 349 Miguel Street, Lake Charles, Louisiana, although that is a Cameron Parish address. We do own other properties in Calcasieu Parish and Cameron Parish. But I want to have an affirmative approach to it, to see that part of the parish developed. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. We have 5 cards in opposition, and so each member will get 2 minutes apiece. And so, Mr. Avery Cook. Mr. Avery Cook? We don't have a card on Mr. Richard. Oh, yeah, we do. I'm sorry, okay. Mr. Ron Richard.
Mr. Chairman, I'm
Hold
here
on a second. Are you taking all the time, or?
most of the time, probably. What it is my neighbors and I have all talked, and they have asked that myself and George Hurd take their allotted time. If you need us to show hands in opposition, just so you can see, that's fine. 2 speakers, just to keep it so we don't
Okay,
have
so
15 people get up.
Mr. Randy Biggs and Ms. Lori Richard, y'all allowing you time to go. Okay, great. Mr. Richard, name and address, please.
Ronald C. Richard. I live at 3695 Lake Breeze Road, down in Big Lake, which is one road over south of Wagon Wheel. We've had who has you have it. Sorry about that. Before I get started, we have acquired a petition in opposition signed by some 60-odd landowners and residents down in the area that we'd like to tender. And just go ahead and while y'all look at it. What we wanted to do is we basically found out about this Saturday, and we have not had a whole lot of time to sort of not only formulate our questions and issues that we see, but to come up with any answers to them either. And so what we thought was best is that we just articulate those questions and issues to the board and let them know that we're in opposition and we think that this application should be denied. One of the first things that we talked about is hurricane evacuation issues down there. If y'all will look at the diagram, you'll see, and everybody kind of jokes about it down there, is that we live on an island. And ingress and egress is made by 2 pontoon bridges, both on the east and west end of Big Lake. And we're extremely concerned, being in a V zone, that should hurricanes come, and they will, what we're going to have in a mess of trying to get everybody on and off that island. And I'm just going to run through the issues one after another to keep it brief. Next thing is we're talking about fire ratings and insurance rates and how that will be impacted should a 72 RV trailer park be put in place down there. We don't know what that means on services. One of our concerns, and we're not trying to be ugly to the police jury, but Wagon Wheel Lane, and remember it's a lane, it's about wide enough to get 2 cars down, barely, which makes us very concerned about how you're going to get 40-foot trailers down there. But it's kind of notorious as a dumping spot and has already been sort of ignored by the parish, and that raises concerns with everybody involved. Another issue is sewage disposal issues. What does a 72-slot trailer park mean to sewage provision down there? How will it impact us? Once again, we don't know the answers to these questions, and we've had about 72 hours to start formulating them. Same thing goes with electricity, utilities. What does the addition of so many needs to the grid mean? If Jeff Davis does this, how's it going to impact our rates? How's it going to impact our service? What does it mean on loss of power whenever that occurs? Another issue is emergency services, ambulance, fire service. Right now, I think, and anybody can correct me, but I think the Big Pasture Road fire service is all we have on the island. So that's a serious question to us when you add so many more people to the mix. Who's going to respond when the bridge is out? The bridge is out, in case you don't know, is out rather frequently. It's just the nature of a pontoon bridge. Police needs. You add a 72-slot trailer park down there. Police are going to have to track across a pontoon bridge. It is unquestionable that 72 slots with the attendant number of people that are going to be added is going to add to law enforcement needs down there. George and I were just saying, we've got a rather unexciting little neighborhood, and we like to keep it that way, quite frankly. Our questions about Corps of Engineering needs, wetland needs, have those been met? Have they been addressed? What are they? We don't even know that right now. I'll tell you this. Thank you. We're seeing roseate spoonbills down there. We're seeing lots of wildlife that has made a real comeback since the storm. We'd like to keep it that way. Traffic congestion over the pontoon bridge. It already gets a little rough. We can't even begin to imagine what it's going to look like if we have a 72-slot trailer park with, however many more cars that's going to be. Our property values have seen a consistent rise since the storm due to the hard work of the residents there. Our question is, how does that impact our property values? And that's a very legitimate and serious question for us that live down there. What does granting this variance mean? Is how many more parks are we going to get down there? We're going to get this one, and then we're going to get, what, 4 more, 5 more? What is that going to mean? If we tell one yes, how do we tell the next one no? And finally, and I know I'm limited for time, Sam, so I'll speed it up, but our big concern is, and this is just very serious to us, is what's to stop this from becoming a de facto man camp? What does to stop this from a contractor cutting a deal ultimately to put a whole bunch of workers on the other side of that bridge, and suddenly our neighborhood is turned into a village full of men who need groceries, need entertainment, need everything that they're going to need, and literally every single one of us can see this place. It's in view of our houses. So anyhow, thank you so much for your time. Please note our opposition, and we respectfully request that the board deny the application.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. Mr. George Hurd. State your name and address, please.
George Hurd, 3636 Lakeview Drive, Deatonville, Lake Charles, Louisiana. I've been living in Deatonville for over 12 years. I lived there for about a year and a half while I built a house to the FEMA specifications. 6 months after I moved in, Rita blew through. We're in what's called a V-zone. That means velocity. This camp, this RV park, is about a half a mile north of where my home is. I was fortunate because of the type of construction that I did, and the house survived very well because it was 14.8 feet above mean sea level. The ground there is about 4.5 feet above mean sea level. But everything that was on the ground ended up where this RV park's going to be. Not only what came out of Deatonville, but what came out of anything that was on the shore down at Cameron. It's about 23 miles from there. And if you take a look at the lake, it's kind of like a funnel. It's wide at the bottom and it narrows down to a point, and that point is Deatonville. So I could go into a lot about the graphics of how the water flows, but we ended up with all kinds of debris. Some of it is still there on some land that's within 200 or 300 yards of where this trailer park is located. Has never been removed. So just trying to be reasonable. I wore this shirt for a reason, because it's got a pelican on it, and it says Louisiana. And that's because I'm concerned about the environment in Deatonville and all around that lake. Now, I can sit on my front porch and see what's going on over at Hackberry with the LNG activity that's going up. I can sit on my back porch and I can see the LNG that's been there for 25 years. I understand that we want these types of facilities, and because we want to grow our ability for our children and grandchildren to have jobs. I have 3 children. One has moved back into town. Another one lives here. And I have 8 grandchildren. I want them to enjoy Big Lake, as most of you, a lot of you, have known about it. Remember, 50 years ago, our pelicans disappeared from Louisiana because we didn't take as good a care of our environment as we should have. Now, that was because we used DDT. Thanks to our good neighbors over in Florida, they gave us a few of those birds, and now you can go down to Deatonville today and see these beautiful, magnificent birds fishing. And you can also see osprey and a lot of other birds. We've really had a tremendous increase in the amount of wildlife that's come back after the storm. You know, it's a unique way of life on the island. It's a unique place. This is not your just 20 acres that's north of the Intercoastal Canal. That's significant. If you let this one in, you've already heard there may be another one. There may be more than one more. We've got to preserve what we have. I know you've got a hard job. I understand that. I served on the jury. I told many people I'd rather serve on the jury than serve on the zoning board because, you know, it's not easy. You don't get a lot of kudos for this. You get a lot of calls and people that get very angry at you. Regardless of what you do, I'm not going to be angry about it. Hopefully I'm not disappointed. But, you know, he's got the regulations. Wes has applied and looked at the requirements, and he'll keep an eye on anything that's built in Calcasieu Parish. That is the letter of the law. What you have to apply is the spirit of what's going on. And we don't want to denigrate our environment any more than we have to. And so I think most reasonable people would recognize that we would end up with an unsupervised mini man camp south of the Intercoastal Canal. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your service. God bless.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Tanis, would you like to come and offer a rebuttal?
I was planning to put the office and the showers and stuff 14 feet high. I have to find out if there's enough water to cover, you know, I have to drill a well to find out if there's even enough water there to supply the amount of trailers that I need. So, I mean, RVs, not trailers, RVs that I'm going to supply. I'm just as concerned about the wildlife. Actually, I've raised ducks on my property, and I'm just right down the road. I've developed downtown, the Garden District. I've cleaned up the Garden District, and I have no plans on destroying anything in that area. If it is, and then I would close it down in a heartbeat if anything happened. Also, during the hurricane, I'll force people to get out of that area. I'm not going to let them stay. I did that with my bed and breakfast when I had it for 16 years. Whenever a hurricane came in, I said, y'all have to leave. Y'all got to get out of here. There's a movie being made during that time. I forced them out of here. You know, Little Chenier. They were going to stay at my house. So I'm not going to destroy anything that's down there. If there is any look of that it's not working out, I'll close it down in a heartbeat.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Maybe one for the staff, just to be certain. If I'm looking at this correctly, am I saying this is approximately a half-mile proposed site?
I can't measure on here, but
Well, I'm looking, you got,
the Deatonville houses,
you have
yeah.
it's about a half mile. You have 40, which would be a quarter, and another 40, so you got, looking right at a half mile.
Right.
Okay, I just want to be certain of the distance.
I
Just wanted to ask, is this an area where if she decides to build homes instead of putting a trailer park, would that be feasible for her since she's purchased the property? And I know she wants to.
Well, from a planning perspective,
Mhm.
it's actually not in the V zone. A lot of the property in that area is in that velocity zone, but her property is actually in an AE zone.
Okay.
So it's not really subject to that surge according to FEMA. But, you know, the thing is the base flood elevation requirement is 12 feet, plus the parish has a freeboard, so that would be 13 feet. So anything permanent that's built there is going to have to be elevated that high. So if you build a house out there, a camp, something like that, you're going to have to elevate it. You're going to have to buy flood insurance. You never know when FEMA's going to change the regulations. So really and truly putting RVs that can't be on the property for longer than 6 months, they have to be movable and that type of thing, may actually be, from a flood perspective, a better use of the property than 20 or so single-family homes.
I got a question, I guess, from staff and the applicant. If the impact of all this industry that's coming in our area, the applicant probably wouldn't be requesting this RV park. Is that correct? Since this is on an island? Well, where would these people go with all that development in that area other than the island?
Well, Coach, I think that obviously now that we have the industry that's growing and we've had a lot of properties that have moved since the announcements. We have a lot of people that come through our office wanting to develop property and asking to how they can go about doing that. So in general, yes, we've had an uptick in the interest of people developing property. We've had a lot of properties that have moved in terms of sold and developed that probably, didn't develop, or were not being developed because, of economy or certain other things. But no question, the economy that we're in this general area right here has really increased in terms of people looking to develop. So I can't tell you whether this is the trigger point, for them to do that. I don't know. But certainly there's been an uptick in development in this region.
Any other questions, comments by the board?
Mr. President, a question in regards, which is a big issue for me personally and also for other people, is like was mentioned, fire protection. Does RV parks play a part in the ratings that fire districts give out that they earn from the fire boards and whatnot for their taxes and fire ratings for their insurance costs and whatnot? Is this something that would come into play that would interfere with their ratings that they may have? I don't
think I can speak to if it's going to impact the ratings, but I do know that the plans will have to be reviewed by the state fire marshal. So they will impose whatever type of firefighting apparatus would be needed, whether it's an on-site pond. We've seen in some cases where the fire trucks can pump water out of the pond, or a deeper well, some kind of pressure. I'm not sure, but I know that we've seen them impose restrictions where there's unique circumstances.
Can the applicant speak again? Can the applicant speak again? She has a comment.
I think only if you had a question.
Okay. Anyone have a question? Okay. I see no other questions. Ms. Christie, roll call, please. Roll call vote.
Mr. Navarre?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Porsche?
No.
Mr. Little?
No.
Ms. Cobb?
No.
Ms. Dickerson?
No.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Galicia?
No.
4 for and 5 against.
Motion fails. Item number 8, take appropriate action on case RZ 04-051. Let's take a moment while everyone leaves out, please. If you leave out quietly, we thank you. Okay. All right, we'll continue. Item number 8, take appropriate action on case RZ 04-051-15, a request by MC200 LLC to rezone from RMHP, which is Manufactured Home Park, and C2 General Commercial to RRVP, Recreational Vehicle Park, and I1 Light Industrial, to allow a recreational vehicle park, 273 spaces, and to allow light industrial development, office and warehouse at 2211 Patton Street in Ward 4. I will entertain a motion to approve with stipulations.
So moved.
Mr. Navarre and Ms. Betty seconded. Ms. Betty Brown seconded. Ms. Wallace.
This 28-acre property is located south of Sulphur. If the rezoning request is approved, the RV park component will include bathing and laundry facilities, along with a centralized mailbox. The portion of land west of the bayou will be used for a light industrial office and a warehouse facility. Because the request is reasonable and minimal impacts are to be expected, the staff recommends that the request be granted with the following stipulations: that the development adhere to the site plan on file, provided that the director may authorize adjustments in light of technical or engineering considerations, that a 6-foot wooden privacy fence be installed along the north boundary of the park should DOTD remove the existing tree buffer, and that all exterior lighting must be oriented inward toward the development or structures to minimize intrusion onto surrounding properties.
All right, thank you. Does the applicant have anything to add?
Just briefly.
Okay, come up, state your name and address, please.
Mike Clark, 625 Ryan Street, Lake Charles. Mr. President, members of the commission, thank you. We have some vacant trailer spaces that we would like to convert to RV spaces. There's a big demand, and the true intent here is to make good use of that empty property right now that's not being used. We also have a section of land that is toward the western end of the park that is not being used for anything. We expect to be able to build out a few spaces there for RVs. And then additionally, on the left side or the west side of the Bayou Den, there is a section of land. That's what we're asking to be rezoned to light industrial. And we would very much appreciate your vote tonight for us. Yes.
The property won't light industrial, that's where the big dumpster is now?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
And are you planning to do anything else with the light industrial area?
No, we have undergone and successfully built out light industrial light industrial space on various properties around, including on the south side of Patton Street. Our intent is to do the same thing, is to build out a warehouse and office space with that property.
All right, any questions for Mr. Clark? Okay, thank you. I have one card, Mr. Joe Walker. You can come up, state your name and address, please. Yes.
My name is Joe Walker. I live at 2605 South Post Oak Road. I live right across the street from this trailer park that he's trying to develop right now, and I am against this. They've already approved the trailer park on the south side, Forest Village, has already been approved in November, and there was 100 and let me pull that back up. There are 174 spaces that were approved at that time for that space, and right now they're trying to approve another 274 slots, bringing the total, if it would be at full maximum capacity, 447 slots. Right now, that's a lot. That's tripling the size of those trailer parks right now with the people that live in there. There's increased traffic flow. The only road to service that is Patton Road. There's no lighting on there. There's no sidewalks. There's already a lot of foot traffic along that road. And with this addition, right now they're trying to push out a lot of these residents in the trailer park. Now, there isn't hardly any residents here right now because January 5th he conducted a meeting promising the residents of the trailer park. I do not live in the trailer park. I live across the street from it. But he promised the residents $2,500 moving fee if they did not object to this, would play compliant with him, so that nobody's here, because they're afraid that if they speak up, they're not going to get any money to move. He also handed out an agenda or trailer parks within 50 miles radius, and a lot of these trailer parks are in Texas. I don't know why we're trying to move out residents to bring in non-residents, out of state, wherever, just out of his place. But also, a lot of these places that he listed on here, there's not a lot of spots left. So if these places do fill up, these people that live in the trailer park have nowhere to go. And that's my concern. Also for my children's safety, the traffic. We got traffic from Swisco Road. We have traffic from the convenience center, from Gravity Drainage, and just the neighborhood. There's a lot of traffic on that road, and I just think this is going to add more to that. There's drainage issues. I haven't heard how many people can live in these RVs, so we're looking at doubling, tripling the population in that small area, and these are my concerns.
Thank you. Hold on,
Excuse me, sir.
Mr. Walker.
How long have you lived across the street from?
I've lived across the streets. Me and my wife got married in 2006.
So the trailer park was there?
The trailer park,
then?
the trailer park was there. My wife has lived in that neighborhood since 1980. Her parents just lived down Kathy Drive a little ways, so she's lived in that neighborhood her whole life.
So you knew that there was a lot of trailers there and across the street?
Yes, there were trailers. That's what I'm saying. What he's proposing right now is going to triple the problem. There's already a lot of foot traffic, and that's one thing I worry about at night, because when you go over the Bayou Den Bridge, it's a very narrow bridge, and there's a lot of foot traffic. There's no sidewalks, and I know several years ago a child was hit out that way, and that's my biggest concern is, just increase foot traffic, increase regular traffic, and then drainage, because like I said, there's no statement about how many people can live in these RVs.
Well, I don't know how drainage, mobile homes is gonna affect the drainage, because the drainage, they're not raising the park. The drainage should be the same, am I right, Wes?
Yes, sir.
The drainage should not affect drainage whatsoever.
Yeah, but
all the drainage is gonna go underneath the travel trailers or mobile homes or whatever's there.
Yeah, but if these were filled up completely, 447 lots, and there's no statement on how many people can live in an RV, aren't you going to have a lot more consumption, a lot more flow?
Well,
but you are going to have
I
more
don't
traffic.
I don't know, are you talking sewage now?
I'm talking sewage, yes.
Because you said drainage.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm talking about
You never
sewage.
said nothing about sewage
I'm
before.
talking about sewage and traffic. I'm sorry.
Well, the sewage is gonna be their problem, because they've got to meet the state speculations on the EPA and the health. It'll be the health unit that makes them have a big enough thing.
But it gets back into the traffic also, and foot traffic and automotive traffic.
Sir, Calcasieu Parish is growing. You can't turn around and say, it's not growing. It's sulfur, the traffic there is atrocious. It's gonna be that way. It's either, just shut it down, not let all this money come into Calcasieu Parish, where people can bring in a lot of money for the parish that we need.
But I'm still concerned, same thing mesh with the fire insurance, property values, my children's safety. I mean, there's already a lot of traffic in there, and we're asking to triple that traffic. And I understand that it's going to grow, but they've already proved that the RV park on the south side, and now we're trying to even triple the size of that.
Now, the RV park on the south side, he's building commercial buildings there also.
Yes, but he's
It's
got.
not gonna be just travel trailers.
No, but it's been approved for 174 slots. And now we're trying to add 274 more slots. That's my concern.
Thank you. I believe we have another question.
General comment. Just a general comment. I don't have a comment directly for you. He did reference.
Sir, I don't have a card on you. You can have a seat, please.
That's Mr. Clark.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, he's on. Okay. I apologize.
The comment I would like to make, do I have the floor?
Yeah, go ahead.
That, he mentioned a private agreement between the the owner, applicant, and his tenants, that would have no bearing on our decision. That's a private agreement, stands alone in and of itself. But I think that the fact that no one's here in opposition means they must be okay with a private agreement, and I think it's nice of the applicant to have reached out to the current residents in that area and made that agreement. I just want to make that comment, that nobody's here in opposition because they've obviously made a private agreement, which is sometimes what we encourage parties that can't come to an agreement to do here. So, okay. Thank you. Just general comment.
Mr. Clark?
My name is Olin Clark. I'm with Mike Clark and just in a trailer park, and we want to tell you that Mr. Wes Crane has already told Mike he doesn't want an RV, any RVs on Post Oak Road. He don't want them there, so Mike agreed. If we get the zoning, there will be no RVs on Post Oak Road to bother Mr. Walker. There'll be no RVs on your street, right across the street. There'll be none. Be no walking, no nothing.
Mr. Clark, talk to us, please.
Anyway, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Thank
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any questions, comments by the board? Mr. Clark, Ms. Clark, number 2.
I'd like to come polish it up a little bit. I love my dad. He's a little hard of hearing. But he's worked very hard.
He's hard-headed, too.
He's very hard-headed, but the guy.
He heard you.
But I'll tell you something about the guy that everyone needs to know. We went through this before. Sasol purchased a trailer park from us in Westlake, and everybody had to get, as TV7 says, kicked out. And during that event, everyone was taken care of. My dad has a very compassionate heart. He cares about people. He cares about how these things impact their lives. And so that park was moved out, and then we did such a good job, or Olin and his staff did such a good job, that he was asked to help move a park next door. There was a lot of problems, and immediately, according to his plan, his ideas, Sasol agreed to, and everyone was moved out in the other park. So our intent here is to maintain, we'd like to maintain that core business that we have there of people who own their trailers and live in that park, and a lot of them have been living there for a long time. We value that business. And what we're going to do is we're going to build out on the south side. You all approved the rezoning on the other side 2 months ago. And we're currently in process of moving people out there. You'll notice there haven't really been any problems reported since you did that 2 months ago. But we've got some empty space there, and there is this huge need, and our phone's ringing off the wall to make use of it in a lot of different ways. We think this is the best way, the friendliest way to use the property and still care about the people who live in that park. So that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions from the board?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Just a comment in regards to, I did get a chance to visit with the police jury from that area, and they met with the citizens in that live in that trailer park, and they all, about 80% of them were in favor of this taking place. So he just wanted to pass that on to the board that they did meet with the citizens and the residents, and they did. 80% of them were in favor of this happening.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Christie, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Porsche?
Yes.
Mr. Navarre?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Little?
Yes.
Ms. Dickerson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Cobb?
Yes.
Ms. Galicia?
Yes.
9 in favor.
Item passes. Next item, item number 9.
Thank you.
On the agenda is to advise that the police jury took the following action on December the 17th, 2015, with reference to the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board of the December 15th, 2015 meeting. The applicant, MC 200 LLC, Patton Street, was deferred. That was upheld. Woodlake Park, West 4th Street, passed. It was upheld. HD Truck and Tractor, Highway 397, passed. It was upheld. Division of Planning and Development on West Prion Lake Road, Planning and Zoning passed. Police jury upheld. Item number 10, the next item on the agenda is to advise that the next regularly scheduled Planning and Zoning Board meeting will be held on Tuesday, February the 16th, 2016, in the Police Jury Meeting Room. Item number 11, adjournment.
So moved.
So moved.
Hey.